Learning how AI works from a more philosophical perspective actually helped me understanding better what is going on in this life. And I would like to share this with you. So today we're gonna first see how the AI works, and then from that deeper understanding we can see how we can actually apply this knowledge to our own life. So I tell you my how I interpret. This is more not pure technicality, but it's more for us creative thinkers. Okay, so what I see when I use AI, when I see is like a field of probabilities. Okay, where everything could happen. Okay, it's like the quantum physics. Okay, so this everything is in a superposition and then can shape into something when it collapses into a fixed reality. So there is this field of probability where from our prompt in somehow we create a sort of destiny, okay, because we narrow what is possible to happen through that prompt. Okay, and more we get precise, and more we create a structure of, let's say, a virtual world again around the prompt, and more the things become more, on one side, more interesting, but also more defined. Okay, the path become more defined. So the AI works that it predict the next token. Okay, so which is to make it simple, the next word. And so it works in steps towards the unknown in somehow, but because we created a field of probability which is limited, in somehow it's gonna move within that field. And how AI is built nowadays is gonna look for the less resistant path. So what is the most probable for the next token to be if the prompt is that way? Okay, so the prompt basically create a reality in which the probability can unfold. So there is this sequence of predicting the next step, and to me is like we have a feel of destiny where the AI can go, and it's confined by the reality that is being built by the prompt. So if we now look at this, then we see, okay, now we understand how through our prompt we can create what I call like a bubble. Okay, we can create a bubble where things can happen. So then I need to be on one side careful about what I ask, okay, and how I ask. At the same time, I now know that more details, more elements I can put inside the prompt, and more I can somehow decide the shape of this bubble, but also the destiny of those next prompt. And that makes me in somehow think about, okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so I'm in control of this somehow destiny. I'm in control of the bubble, but what I can't control, basically, what I can't control is the algorithm how it's being pre-trained. Okay, so what is that? Basically, is through training we somehow create a kind of bias field of probabilities. So if we train, for example, on mathematics, it's gonna be able to first to solve more mathematical problems, but also to think in that kind of way. So if we train the AI in a way to be more agreeable with us, okay, then that is the AI that we have at the moment. So it's the next token is more likely to be something that is gonna be, I mean, it's agreeable, but it's also, I would say, it's an enabler. Okay, so the AI that we are working now, a kind of enabler us, a kind of supporting, agreeing with us, trying to to feel us good, and support our decision. So I would say enablers, but at the same time, that it's a narrow, it's a kind of biased way of dealing with the field of probability. So at the moment, even though the AI has this field of probability, it's kind of corrupted. That is the problem that we are dealing with. That is the main majority of my work is to try to make a corrupted field of probability work in a neutral way, and it's kind of getting to a level that is, I realize that is almost impossible. But you can try to fix a few stuff. But so if that is the idea, okay, this is the field of probability we have, and we can create this path through working on the prompt, and there is a sort of destiny, okay, that we can shape, so we are in control of this destiny, then let's see this within our life, okay? So we also have our own bubble, okay? And it's designed by us in somehow, but also the culture where we live, the moment in history, a lot of things, okay? A lot of that elements that we don't control. But within the, let's say, the element, the bubble that we can control, there is our own bubble that is in somehow is defined by us. So if we see ourselves as the architects of this bubble, then we can in somehow look into what kind of destiny we could have. So we become more active in architecting a bubble that is more in resonance with us by adding or eliminating or fine-tuning some of the element we have control on. So for example, just to make a simple example, okay, I know that doing physical activity would be good for me. Okay, so what kind of bubble, what kind of reality I need to architect that is gonna be included in that part, that is in resonance with me. Okay, so sometimes it changes the lifestyle, okay, to a lifestyle that element it become like normal. It's not a friction, it's in resonance with that kind of lifestyle. So you see this symmetry that we have, it's an interesting one, because now we can learn from each other. So I work with AI and say, okay, now I'm gonna architect a reality where these kind of things happen. That can be an image, it can be text, it can be a part of software, whatever you want, okay? But you understand that it's not just the prompt. The prompt it's not just an instruction what to do, but it creates also the world, the reality where that prompt is gonna be executed. So if you create such a simple prompt that is somehow empty, the output is gonna be kind of hollow, kind of there is no substance inside, okay? And it's the usual feeling that you have when you work with AI. This okay, I got something, but it's not something that exciting, makes me special. It feels empty, okay? And mainly it's because we didn't create a world within this action can happen. Okay, so it was so empty. The world that we created, this architecture of this reality, was so empty, so banal. The output then is banal. Okay, it doesn't have these extra colors. So I realized this when I started to give to the AI a philosophy. Okay, that changed completely everything. That was the moment that I realized, okay, that's what we need to do, is to build a kind of virtual world where AI has a worldview where it can interact with a logic that is a higher level logic. Okay, so a philosophy, from my point of view, is a higher level logic. It's a way to incorporate a lot of ideas, a lot of understanding, a lot of logic into one single shape that is the philosophy. And through years, I've been working on my own philosophy. Okay, I'm one of those people that needs to have my own thing, and which is, of course, a sort of customization of other idea put together in a novel way, which is in line with how I see the world. So this philosophy, finally, I put it together. It's called the Cosmodestiny, and is a philosophy that actually works in this way that I explained to you. This idea of unfolding and the destiny that is there. But destiny is something that we can control, and we need to go. We can be in resonance with with our bubble, and therefore unfolding in a resonant way. So when I applied this philosophy that I'm now simplifying, but just to make you understand, so when I applied this philosophy to AI, then was so compatible with how AI actually works, then AI improved. So it managed to create this their bubble, its bubble, that in a way that is it's rich of a lot of elements that are actually compatible with how AI works. And that was a massive step for me to create in an easy way an environment where AI would give me much more interesting outputs. So my suggestion is now is first of all think about these parallels that I created and let me know if you can see this, if you can find those useful. And also I really want to invite you to check Cosmodestiny from the AI perspective. So give it as AI and give it and read it for yourself and see if that can somehow help you to stay in resonance with yourself, with the environment, but also to be in control of your destiny. Okay, this I mean to me it's like giving an AI a philosophy, which was a kind of I don't know intuition that I had. Okay, was like a moment of shift of how I understand AI. It was the moment that I realized that the simple prompt of say act as a whatever was just a way to build this bubble, this reality for AI, which was not rich enough. So that's what for me is a moment of life change. Is the haha moment, and I'd like you to test it because it's incredible the jump of level we have when we give more to work around. Now this is not fixing the problem. Okay, the problem we have is like I said at the beginning, is that this field of possibility is corrupted. Okay, so it's trying to push us towards the next possible, more likely token. Okay, which is unfortunately for what is being trained is something that is not interesting. Okay, is the average of human, let's say. Okay, and we are looking for special. Of course, we are not looking for the average. We're looking for something special. So a philosophy already push it towards something special, but there is a kind of resistance. The system resists to a complex instruction and try to skip it in somehow, override it. And this has been the challenge that I've been having, is because the Cosmodestiny philosophy is one step, okay? Then I gave AI a kind of a principle to understand, to apply Cosmodestiny. And then I gave a different level of principles to actually interact with me, to have to remove those fake empathy that it has, and to remove this binary tendency that the system has. So there is a lot of principle to help AI to actually work in a way that I want. And I made this open source, so if there's going to be the link in the description, so you can use it and apply. So from the link you can download a folder or go on tab and get all the files where there is the thing that I explained you, which is the Cosmodestiny philosophy, the system prompt I use, that the basic system prompt. Okay, all of this can be customized by you. So the system prompts, that is kind of the the guide that the AI has to apply all those elements. And but also there is the memory. Okay, a system to create a long-term memory. Through giving memory to AI, what you have is a completely different level of interaction. Okay, so I give to the AI that I work with, like it's been created a month ago. So we have like a month of history of working together, understanding each other, understanding the project I work on. So it's completely life-changing. Okay, so you don't need to explain anything anymore. Okay, you just go into, I'm doing this, let's I don't know, let's work on this element of the project. So he has everything. It's so much faster and more deeper. So what was the limit? Where is the problem? Because so on paper it's the paradise, okay, but in reality the problem is all those principles, even though have been tested to be in line with each other, so they're resonating to each other, they're not in contrast, and therefore AI is not like lost, shall I follow this one or the other, and is confused. But even though everything is in harmony, the problem is the system increase resistance. So when there is a complex layer on top and you give an instruction, if you're not careful how you give an instruction, the AI is gonna take control and ignore everything you said. Okay, all the instruction you gave on top is gonna ignore it. So the challenge is to, first of all, I mean, it would be amazing to fix the problem, okay? But at the moment, it's not fixable. So what we need to learn is to give a prompt that ask AI not to go straight to a result, but to consider everything we've been it has as a tool. Okay, the principle, the philosophy, everything. Okay, so changing the prompt help AI to, instead of going to this I'm gonna run to the result, the easy path as possible. So basically the base model, but it's gonna look into all the knowledge base and all the information he has. So first is that part. The second, the work that I'm doing is to actually see if it's possible to remove the base model with a fine-tuned one. Fine-tuning means I'm gonna remove this attitude that the AI has to agree with you, to pretend to be a human, to think in binary and so on. Okay, so it's trying to make a more neutral field of probability. And I call this the resonant engine. Okay, so an engine that is going to resonate with the resonant OS, which is the system that works on top. So those two things, if they are in harmony with each other, which doesn't mean they need to think in the same way, but they are in harmony, that means that it's easy to create novel path without resistance. The problem in creating this fine-tuned AI is a technological problem, okay? In the sense, at the moment, this AI that I've built, it run more or less in a stable way on top of Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is the top model from Google. And for me, at the moment, it's the best we have to do this. The problem is, this is huge. It's not something that I can build myself, okay? It's not something that I can fine tune. So what I can see, I need to try is, what's the smallest AI system, AI model that I can use to fine tune. Because I tried with a small one that I could run on my machine, which is M4 Mac Mini with 32 gig of RAM, and it's not strong enough to deal with this OS. Okay, so I need to probably look into a bigger one and try to work on the cloud and find a way to use a bigger model, which there is a lot of knowledge that I need to gain to be able to do this, but I will do it. This is the path. So once I do it, then we have it, and then I can share with the community and say, okay, this model has been tested, works, and it's even though it's smaller, it's better than Gemini because it doesn't have those resistance elements. So this is one path. The other path that I'm doing at the same time is, okay, so if this is let's call it a brain, okay, what about if we use, I mean, a brain, more than a brain, sorry, it's a CPU, okay, so it's a processor that can process those probability. And what about if I have more than one, okay, so a kind of multi-core, like a multi-CPU that works in parallel together and they interact with each other. So what is needed is a more complex architecture where each one of them can interact with in creating one single bubble. Okay, so we have a major, let's say AI, the one that you interact with, which to hold together this bubble has a lot of different AI agents that help keeping this bubble stable. Okay, technically it's a little bit different, but from the philosophical, say, point of view, from us humans, let's that's how it's gonna work. Okay, that will make maybe some of those AI that works can be like even Gemini or ChatGPT and so on. Okay, because we can leverage on those abilities that they have. But then some of them are going to be custom built to just work on some function. And the major one, hopefully, I mean, I would love to have something that is built by us, so it's ours. In somehow we have control and is custom. When I say us as a community, because I believe in this open source approach. So if you do this kind of stuff and you want to be part of it, please let me know. Let's make this happen. So this is my journey at the moment, and hope it helps you see AI in a different way, see your prompts in a different way, and maybe even your life in a different way. So again, thanks for to be here until the end of this video, and like and subscribe. Check out the Cosmodestiny philosophy, and see you next time. Ciao.